What's up, guys? Just the average here today. I haven't made a YouTube video in about almost a year. It's been 11 months, it said. And now today is a cold Arkansas day for some reason, even though it's supposed to be like 80 something. Because it's kind of weird because earlier we had like 80 something degree weather, and then now it's like 55. It's supposed to get to 64, but yeah. I don't know why Arkansas is like that, but it just is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my shop. I'm going to show you this little Craftsman lawn garden tractor, actually. Show you it, and can't really get that thing to run half the time because I don't know, just that carburetor that's on it. I've tried different carburetors and tried cleaning the carburetor that was on it, and it hardly ever runs, and it tries to bog down and it surges and stuff at full speed, and can't get it to just can't get it to run correctly. And apparently, which it's not doing it right now, but every now and then it'll just be a huge gust of wind comes by and blows my Honda 4 tracks over. But yeah. Oh, in my truck, you got to turn the key on and off and pump the fuel pump in order for this thing to start. And that started. Alright, but yeah. And don't look at my tachometers. Okay, there we go. About to say it's never done that before. But anyway, I'm going to head down to the shop and show you the Craftsman. I'm like Dixie, I just as soon stay home. Alright, and now we're coasting downhill because my old Ford just decided to die on me. Probably because I'm so low on gas. Going down that hill, probably thought it was running out. Brakes, barely hit the brakes, and no power steering. Just roll right in place. Good enough. Alright, good enough. Alright, well, here she is. And, alright, I know one thing I did wrong. It was running bad before this anyway. See this? This is a fuel pump right here. And this is also a fuel pump. That's all it does is pump fuel. And the carburetor came off of it. Over here. This is the carburetor that came off of it. It has a... Oh my God, Jeff. Alright, I'm sorry about that. Some guy named Jeff called me, and I don't know, he's coming over or something like that, so I don't know. But anyway, it's the carburetor came off of it, and you can see it looks like it's missing the diaphragm, but it's actually not. See, there's paint over it. None of these holes are tapped. That little hole, that screw hole's not tapped. That one ain't either. No, so it's not supposed to have a fuel pump. And oh, and look right here, the fuel inserts from right here. On this is the fuel pump, and it inserts where the fuel pump is, not right here. There's still a hole there for it, but no, it don't insert there. And well, the lighting just ain't good in here. We need another light like right there, and we got some lights. Maybe eventually we'll get better lighting in here, but right now it's kind of hard to see. But I might just go ahead and start this thing up and show you what it does. So it's probably gonna need choke. Probably need to turn this thing on. Well, that's one thing it does, but usually I can get it to rev up to speed, and it'll stay up there, and it'll just surge. Sometimes if I adjust the screw, it'll used to I could adjust it out and make it run a little bit richer, and it would run better, and then it would die later. And I was out there driving around, and I had to push this big old garden tractor back, but because it died on me. But anyway, I can turn the screw in a little bit, and then it'll start surging even worse, and then it'll try to die. You pull a choke back, and it'll backfire, and it's like someone shot a 12 gauge off right in your ear. Your ears will be ringing right after it, but yeah. So this thing already had me thinking with the coil. You can see all this coil nonsense that I have. That right there don't work. Don't even attempt doing that. Because I already knew it wouldn't work. That's a single cylinder Briggs & Stratton coil with two 12-gauge wires running. I had them running to both plugs. I couldn't get the original coil, which I actually have on it right now. Because you're probably wondering what this is. I'll get to that. The coil, I couldn't get the this little tab that has a wire on it, and when you ground that out, it's supposed to kill a motor. Well, it didn't matter. I put a wire on there, and I had the wire stripped, and I touched it to any part of the motor or the frame or anything. It never, it never died. I couldn't get that thing to shut off no matter what, so I finally just decided, after trying like a few different coils that were bad and didn't work, I decided just to run a wire from the plug wire. And I was just going to run it to two of those little switches, but you see these are so close. When I run that wire, it arcs from one post to the other, and it don't run at all. And this one here, sometimes it'll arc inside of here if you look, but don't do it very much, and it actually runs with it anyway. These are three-way switches. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're three-way switches, so they're further apart. And I can turn both these off. I can just turn one of them off and shut off whichever cylinder this goes to. It looks like it goes to that one. Shut off that cylinder. Or just shut off that one, but flip them both off. It shuts both of them off. That's how that one works. But, yeah, and also, this being a horizontal shaft, you have to take off all of this. You got to take off this little, it keeps the belt in place. That's whatever it is. And you got to take off the pulley and the bracket that mounts the pulley. And you used to have a fan guard on it, but I forgot to put that on before I put everything else on. I was like, you know what, I screwed. I ain't putting that back on. Anyway, and then you got to take off this little flywheel right here. It's like aluminum, and it's light. And then you got to take off the cover, and then you're to the coil finally. Oh, and I forgot about this. You got to take this off, and loosen these two bolts, and then loosen two bolts down there, and it comes off. And then I just bent these out of the way. I didn't even care. I wasn't going to take those off too. I was already getting kind of mad at it because I couldn't get anything to go right with this thing. The only weird thing about it is it sat for a while, and I basically went out there, the battery that was already in it, no one charged it, except for maybe 2 years, and went out there, turned the key, and it started. Well, I turned the key, and it clicked, and I turned it over, and it was turning over, and I pulled the choke back and let it turn over for another 10 seconds, and it finally kicked over and started. It's kind of unbelievable, but it wasn't run without the choke on, but I actually drove it around for a while like that. It's kind of weird that happened. But anyway, I might show you this here water pump. This was my grandpa's water pump that he bought back in '78, I think. If I remember right, look at the model type and code. I think it's on this side. Well, you can't see it, but I know it said under code the first two numbers was 78. The first two numbers on there is the year. The next two, I think, is either the day or the month, but, yeah. This was at my other grandpa's house, and it's been sitting there for probably a good 25 years. It's probably about how long it sat there without being ran. And, anyway, he died, and I went over there, and I got it, and I took it and cleaned the carburetor, and bought a new spark plug and air filter for it. That thing runs. It ain't been starting in a little while, but let's just see if it starts. Alright, well, it runs still. This right here is at my grandpa's house, the one that died. It used to be self-propelled and all that. I think I even have a picture of it. I might just pop up here on the screen. Oh boy, what the hell's that sound? Grandpa, are you mowing? What the hell's that? Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Look at that. Look at it. Oh my god. What is it? It's a lawnmower. stop it. Hey, stop it. Oh, come on, stop. You're gonna ruin my life. But, yeah. It's a 87 model. It says probably right here. No, maybe it says somewhere else, but no, it says right here. You can't see it probably, but it's a 87 model. But yeah, it runs. I've been mowing the grass with it. You can see how all that wet grass is on there. And it's kind of hard to start this with just one hand, but try it. Well, it runs. Alright, now this tiller. This tiller's where everything gets a little bit weird. Now, the tiller was actually from my grandpa that died. And, see, I still have most of his stuff around here, but anyway. The motor, the carburetor and gas tank came off of the motor that was on here. It was originally a 5-horse. This is a muffler I bought at Medders. And, all this crap I have rigged up is, you know, kind of weird. Okay, the motor came, my friend of mine found it in a dumpster, and he brought it to me, but anyway, it stuck a ring, and the piston was in bad shape, because part of the piston, evidently something must have got in the cylinder, and stuck one of the rings, and, so, yeah, I put a new piston, a lawnmower piston, from a 3.5 horse Briggs, and, put it in there with everything else. Oh, and a different sump cover, because I couldn't mount this motor on here because it has this little thing. I had to put an old sump cover from like probably, I wouldn't doubt if it was from either the late 50s or the early 60s. But I had one from 62 that's similar to it, but I kind of think that other one was a little bit older, the one I took the sump cover off of. And yeah, I bought a new spark plug and air filter for it. And it runs. It'd be hard to start this with one hand because you got to pull the choke back. You got to turn the toggle switch on, and you got to pull the choke back and hold the choke. Because if you try to pull it with the choke out, and you don't have your hand on it, the choke will suck itself back in and it won't start. So you got to hold the choke, and then you got to pull the rope, and it'll usually start with like maybe 3 or 4 tries or so. But yeah, it actually runs with all those different parts in the motor. I mean, that thing is all messed up. The motor was a 96 model, and this carburetor and gas tank came off of a 1963 model 5-horse, and this tiller is a 1963 model. But it works. I tilled my sister's garden with it, and it seemed to be good. Seemed to do pretty good. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Sorry I ain't uploaded in so long, but it is what it is. But anyway, I might be back with another video for too long. Who knows?